All right, welcome to the Audible today. Kim Bokamper, Joe Rose. That's going to do it for today. We'll catch you.
Hey! We haven't done the show yet.
Joe, see, we're on the brink of a vacation here, man.
Oh boy,
we've been going. Hey Jeff, how long we been going with the Audible here now, nonstop? See, look, he's not even paying attention.
Even he's not listening now.
The staff, the people that stir this
Can
drink.
I just tell you?
The people that make this stir the drink.
You've been going a long time. Let me just say that. It's been a long time. Yeah.
Jeff, how long we been going without a break? 2 years. 2 years without taking time off. We're going to take time off. This will be our last show until March, I think March 7th, 8th, right around there. We'll be back. Just get ready. Break. Just in time for free agency, Joe. And
right.
Yeah, it's look. I like to say the players are taking a break, but I'm looking over here and, I come in and see guys here working out already. I saw Larry Tunsil out here working out. John Denny out here working out. You see the young guys working out, Joe.
Makes me feel good.
It makes me feel good. I tell you, because I know back in our day, hell, we wouldn't have been anywhere near this place.
So you didn't see anybody till minicamp in May, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Bo, I'm glad you brought up Tannehill, Tunsil, Bobby, Raekwon, all these guys, all here, either getting healthy or just guys now took a week off.
Yep.
I've been shocked by some of the guys said they just took a week off, went to the Bahamas, went home for a few days, came back, want to get going, and saw Adam Gase today, and of course he's fired up and on a mission, and I just think it's great. Just for people wondering after you go 6-10, what's it like around here? Well, I'll tell you, they don't have to report for a while, and they're all in here working out and getting ready to go. So it's pretty cool.
It's amazing, Joe. You go back from our day to then, and look quite literally. I remember my rookie year, I was on injured reserve, not playing, but I remember our last game was the Orange Bowl, playing against the Minnesota Vikings. Didn't play. It wasn't a very good game.
No.
Dolphins went 6-8 that season, 14 game schedule. I think Coach Shula's first losing season here, maybe only losing season, and all I remember is him just ripping everybody, walking around the locker room. You know who didn't play. You know who gave up, and I guarantee you won't be here next year.
You won't be back.
And I'm sitting there going, oh, what the hell's going on?
Basically semi-fired. Like, you're not going to be back. He did that to me. I mean, I needed no more motivation than Don Shula saying, if you catch it, you drop another ball like that, I'll go to Carroll City High School and find somebody to catch the ball.
But beyond that, Joe, so he goes through this diatribe about all this and that, and then last thing he said, see you guys in May.
Right.
I mean, literally, you're gone. You're gone from the back then.
Crazy.
We were ending in December, probably mid-December back then. We were ending the season because there was no bye weeks and it was a 14-game schedule. So from the middle of December through May, you're nothing.
Right.
You'd kind of start in April, maybe getting ready for mini camp just so you could run the 12-minute run in mini camp.
Right.
That's about it.
You look at the game, though, Bo,
now,
where it was and where it is now, the big business, the amount of money guys can make. Bo, I always go to this. My first contract, like yesterday, $35,000 base year one, $42,000 year two, jumped up to the big 5-0 in year three.
Big money there.
And then I think the fourth year, I finally got up to 80. I was pumped up. Hey, don't mess with me, man.
But it is, it's funny because you think about these guys now, and you think, man, maybe the commitment, but these guys work nonstop, Joe.
Well, I think they're motivated by money, but they want to be good.
No, look,
they want. I always get mad when people they're only playing for money. You don't just play football for money, man. You got to want to play and want to be good.
I always tell people, football's not fun. Playing the games is fun. Practicing every day, the workouts. I'm having a problem now getting motivated to go to the gym, Joe, because I'm like, they go, well, just go. Just go to the gym. I go, you know what? I've been going to a goddamn gym my whole freaking life. Right. I'm tired of going to gyms.
Right.
I don't want to be in a gym anymore. No. I've been in a gym since I was 9 years old.
Right.
Why the hell do I want to go back to a gym?
No, I got you. I'm with you. It's hard, and that's why. Hey, listen, these guys out here. I don't think anybody's happy want to make the team.
But I'm with you too, Joe. Look, it is about money because that's what your job is, and you want to be compensated. You want to be compensated, but I would guess, Joe, that 90% of these guys, because I know myself. Once I signed my contract, it was in the background, and I didn't care. Just moving on.
Right.
And I would say it's the same for 90, if not more, percentage of these guys, 95% maybe, who just look. That's the business side. Now I just want to go out and be the best player I can be, and try to help this team win football games.
Bo, I go back and people say when we play for sure because of practices. If you decided, well, I'm going to try to sneak in one more year, there's no way you could go through 2 a days.
No.
Gassers. You couldn't fake your way through that. If your heart wasn't into it, Bo, you can never do it.
No,
you never got to the games.
Once you got past it, my last training camp, I was about out of gas.
Right.
You know, I mean, I was looking to steal a year.
Right,
you know, I was looking to
1 year a damn IR. I was looking I'm good to go.
I didn't want to go on IR, but I just want to just throw me in there on third downs to pass rush.
Right.
Let those other guys do. Let those other guys do the other
all
stuff.
the other snaps,
and Coach Shula saw through that like it was a piece of saran wrap.
He's seen that show. He's seen that show.
That shit ain't gonna happen with me.
No, you're right.
You're out. You know. Well, I should have been out, but it's different, but it's the same. And
it is good to be over here though and see so many guys. They're young guys that said, "Yeah, I took a week off. I took 2 weeks off, and I'm back for good."
I did a number of events with Sue late in the season, and I'd ask him, "Well, okay, so, season's about to wrap up here in another couple of weeks. What are you going to do?" He says, "I'm going to take 2 weeks off, then I'm going to go back and start working out again." And he probably only took a week off and started working. They're just in that mode where it's a year-round thing now for these guys to go through and get the job done. And like you said, nice to see. And some of these guys looking pretty good out here, Joe. I don't want to spread any rumors, but some guys looking pretty good.
Well, there's 3 guys on defense. They're out here working out.
Yep. How about this one, Joe? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh,
how about the change in his life in the last 4 or 5 months, 6 months? Right, he goes from being a backup to Tom Brady,
right,
and
nice
maybe and possibly the heir apparent,
right,
to getting traded to the 49ers, who were a dismal football team at that time.
Terrible. When he got traded to him,
terrible.
Awful.
Rips off 5 wins. Now, you know as well as anybody, because I know your dad tells you all the time, they're talking Super Bowl in the Bay Area now.
They got a quarterback.
Yep.
After those games, you got the contract numbers
I do.
there?
So here it is. Just signed a contract.
Wow.
5-year, $137.5 million. You go from being a backup.
$90 million the first 3 years
guaranteed in the first 3 years. But you go from being a backup quarterback in New England, not playing, and all of a sudden, boom, here they drop almost $140 million in your lap and say, you know what? We're good guys. We're going to guarantee $90 million of that for you.
Well, they're not good guys. They think he's going to be really good. They saw enough to believe that he's a franchise quarterback. They're selling him as that.
Yep.
Hey, Bo, on top of that, I thought, I'm sure you did, and a lot of people that saw that contract went, if Garoppolo, after 5 or 6 games in the NFL, is worth that money, what is Aaron Rodgers going to be worth? What is Matt Ryan going to be worth? Bo, those guys all going to get paid. We're going to look at quarterbacks now making NBA star money, $30+ million coming up.
Yeah, getting there. It's getting there. Jason Stavros from Facebook. Bo, is there a good enough tight end? Would you pick him if there's a good enough tight end? Would you pick him up in the first round? Yeah, I would. Sam and I talked the other day. I said, the dilemma for the Dolphins would be you get there at number 11, and there's one of those quarterbacks there. There's maybe that linebacker from Georgia there.
Georgia, good player.
There's the big tight end, one of the big tight ends there, and there's an offensive guard there, all sitting there. The kid from Notre Dame,
man,
all sitting there at number 11. What pick do you make? Let's say you got Mayfield, you got what's the kid name? Quentin Nelson, you got Raekwon Smith, and you got the tight end from Wisconsin or whatever, the kid Funderburk or whatever his name is.
First of all,
check his name.
Can I
check
cheat?
The kid from?
Can I cheat a little bit?
Huh? Fumagalli. There you go.
Can I cheat?
Fumagalli.
Can I cheat a little bit?
You can cheat all you want.
I don't think there's any tight ends.
It's our last show for a month.
That's
you can
right.
cheat all you want.
So I don't think there's any tight ends that are worthy of being one of those picks. So if that's the case, I'm going to go a different position. But, Bo, I will tell you in the top 2 picks, there needs to be a tight end.
Yep.
And the reason being, because we have found out, being around Adam Gase and the way he likes to flex his tight end out, especially in the red zone, and throw to him, get a lot of targets to him. Last year it didn't work out. Bo, you got to have that guy. Go out and get that guy so you can keep your offense.
I look back. I've said it before on the show over the last week. Go back and look at the Super Bowl. Who were the 4 most important players in that game? the two quarterbacks and the two tight ends.
Two tight ends played crazy.
Offensively,
made all the plays.
All the plays.
Gronk in the second half.
Every big play you
Ertz.
can think of in that game was made by a tight end. And it was made by a tight end that even threw the ball to Foles for the touchdown.
How about this one? The first, maybe the best and the third best tight ends in football playing against each other.
Yep.
How much you want to read into that? I throw Kelsey from Kansas City, who's also in the playoffs right there. But those three, you see what a big part of the offense they were for New England, Philadelphia. Gronk's second half's kind of forgotten now. Over 100 yards in the second half alone.
Yeah.
Two
as
touchdowns.
Poorly as he played, he was the star of the game in the second half, putting the points on the board. So, it was
great. Tight end is important is what we're saying. We're with you.
Yeah, with you on that. What's taking Jarvis so long? Well, it's negotiations. It's going back and forth. And
they're millions of dollars apart.
Yeah, they're a long way apart. There's some animosity floating around now.
That's not helping.
The little trash talk from the little Armando Salguero, little bombshell article he threw out there. That didn't help relations.
No, Jarvis Landry's group believes that came right from the team.
And so it's going to take some time. And if Jarvis gets to free agency, Joe, let me ask you this. Jarvis gets to free agency, what do you think the chances percentage-wise of the Dolphins re-signing him if he gets to free agency? Test the market.
If he tests the market, there's some teams, like the team we're talking about, 49ers got so much money. Even signing this quarterback, Garoppolo, they still got – they're over $100 million. He's got to look at getting paid. His agent – has no loyalty to any team.
No.
It doesn't matter. Hey, thanks for drafting him and giving him an opportunity to catch 400 footballs in the first 4 years.
Yep.
But my job's to get him as much money as possible.
Yep. And in turn, getting the agent as much money as he can get out of it too.
That 2% of.
Well, yes, I just
to me,
if I'm the Dolphins and I'm committed to signing him, I got to do it before because let him get to free agency, the price is going to go up, and it's going to go up dramatically. So that's what's taking time. It's a negotiation. It's probably not the most congenial conversations right now, but I'm with you.
Didn't happen.
Facebook, Mike Colazzo. Hey, Bo, what moves do you think the Dolphins will be interested or willing to make this offseason? Well, they made a lot of moves coaching-wise. They've made some moves to clear the roster spots of Cutler and guys like Julius Thomas and those guys that we expected not to be back again. But, look, I think I would see the Dolphins going this way. I don't expect from that when the free agent begins. I think March 11th. I think that's when free agency begins. I wouldn't expect the Dolphins to go after any big money guys. Fill in some holes maybe with some guys that are
no Ndamukong Suhs, no Mike Wallace splashes. It's not going to happen.
Just get some guys to fill for some depth to fill in and try to make hay on the draft. I mean, that's where they got to –
I tell you what, this team, I think, has learned something. This front office we have right now, and before they got here, trying to get guys that have a little bit of tread left on the tires, I think we got to get away from that.
No retread.
Got to get away from it.
Yeah. Don't give me that guy. I don't want to see that guy that's got – has been in the league for 12 years, and I think he got 2 more years left in him.
Yeah, he was good. He's just got to be used right.
Yeah. We've been there, done that, seen it. And it just doesn't seem to work.
You're going to build this through young guys.
Yeah.
You've got to build it through the young guys. It's got to be built around the last couple of drafts that we've had, and we've got to live with those guys.
Yeah. Jay Clape, 12. What do you think needs to be done on our defense? Is the scheme working? Joe, to me, offensively and defensively to me, it's not about scheme. It's about execution.
Agree.
I just don't – I don't think – I know everyone wants to change the way they do things and let's go to a 3-4, let's do this. It's not about what scheme they're doing defensively. It's not about the plays they're calling offensively. You can have the best play caller there is offensively, but if guys don't execute, Joe, it's not going to work.
Right.
It's just not going to work.
I was starting to wonder. It's funny you mentioned that. I think back to sometimes we had some broken coverages on defense. Yep. We got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be able to make adjustments. And during the week, when you're going through it, those 3 or 4 days you're working on it, and you're in film study, you're in your different position meetings, you got to know what you're doing. You got to pay attention, and it's got to sink in on Sundays.
Well, Joe, it's the other thing too. And look, you watched the Super Bowl, you saw the signs. Just do your job. Right. Do your job. And look, that to me is very much of all that means to me is play disciplined defense. If your job calls for you to two-gap this guy, two-gap him. If your job is to get up the field And you know what's funny, Joe? I was watching the game. It was in New England. I forget who was their linebacker they had, but play goes away. All the action goes away. Defensive end, who's got backside contained, kind of squares up, kind of looks inside, but squares, and then the quarterback comes out in a boot. Boom, he's right up there to stop him.
Makes a tackle.
You know, that to me,
no play.
That to me is disciplined defense. Because you watch most players, once that play goes away, they want to run, think they're going to make the play on the other side,
Right.
and here comes the bootleg.
Let me make a big play.
And the quarterback standing back there patting the ball, waiting for that tight end to run that deep crossing route, right? Waiting because no one's there, waiting. Okay, I can throw it now. Boom, make the completion. It's those little things, Joe. To me, the problem with this team on both sides of the ball are details. I just don't think they're really good at the detail that makes the difference between winning and losing football games.
You're supposed to run a certain route, and it's covered or guys in it, so you decide to free your lands to an open area. Quarterback doesn't know you're doing it. We end up having a play that ends up being a disaster. Too much of that on both sides. Discipline, whatever you want to call it. But we can't have it.
No.
You got it. Whatever you're getting coached up to do, there's a reason to do it. You're not getting punished. You're doing it for a reason to help the bigger picture of things.
Yeah. Here you go. Hey, Joe, how do you feel about the tight end? How do you feel about how the tight end is so important in offensive these days? You wish you were playing with these offenses, $, $.
I want to start with I like the new NFL. I would want to be a tight end because nobody would jam me. I got jammed for 7 years every day in practice, every game. And when I got jammed, I got knocked out on my route. I got my ass chewed. So you worked on Bo. We worked on double moves, on releases, speed moves to the outside. I got jammed into tight end, to tackle sometimes, making an inside release. If I got up high, Kim Bokamper would lift me into the tackle. John Giesler was wondering why I was into his knee on the ground when I was supposed to be running a pass pattern. They don't jam tight ends now. There's a free release. My God, I would love to have that chance.
It's to me, it's
still
just
don't understand. I've listened to coaches try to explain it, but that's the old NFL. But it would be fun to play, and that position is starting to explode.
Joe,
more targets, more money.
Forget tight end position, Joe. The difference between the era we played in and now, from a coverage standpoint, I mean, when I first came in the league playing linebacker, you could hit a guy anywhere in the field as long as the ball wasn't in the air.
That's true.
Now it's so, the penalties on defense are so much that it's almost pitch and catch.
I would tell you one thing, Bo. One other story about tight end, and I tell everybody this because I played against Kenny Easley and Ronnie Lott, and almost all the safeties back then were like those guys. And Glenn and Lyle.
You got a taste of Jack Tatum and
George
Atkinson, right?
Glenn and Lyle Blackwood would lay their bodies out to try to crush you. You don't have to worry about that now, Bo.
No.
Their guys are going for the ball. They got to worry about head-to-head hits. Got to worry, can't hit high, can't hit low. I would have loved to have been able to run down the field and not worried about getting Ronnie Lott's hammering me.
Black man game back on the show here. Is Ryan participating in OTAs? Well, I think it's expected. I think that's the assumption.
I think
that he's
at
that level. I mean, he's been running. I know before preseason, before games, he was running stairs.
No limp.
I think that I said earlier on that I don't care if he does OTAs or mini camps. I just want him ready for training camp, so you don't lose anything. But
he can throw though.
But the way that he's going, I would guess he's pretty much a full participant in OTAs. That's just my. I'm no insight on it. Just my opinion.
I think Ryan, after last year of watching Jay and Matt, I just think, and Bo, as you know, when you're not playing and you're on injured reserve,
it's the worst.
You don't feel like part of the deal.
No.
You feel like even the guys treat you differently. You start getting stuff in your head. Oh, listen, I'm going to make sure these two never play again when I come back. And I think Ryan has got some of that in him right now.
A little chip on his shoulder. And, look, he's a guy that he's it's been a long time since he's had a chance to stay and play and stay healthy.
Right.
So, Periscope, Jack 3 Dixon, Trey Burton, Philly tight end is the one that threw the pass to Foles. I don't know if that's why he's just giving me that or
he was telling you who the guy was that came around was a
Periscope. David Coffin 7. Hey, Bo and Joe, Devontae Parker had a huge preseason hype. What do you think? Why do you think it didn't happen for him? Well, Joe, he's got to understand that he's got to play the game the same every single week. His energy's got to be the same every week. And the other thing, Joe, he's going to have to learn that you're going to play in this league. You got to play through some injuries, man. You got to play through some pain.
As soon as he got injured and had a high ankle sprain,
that was it.
Things changed. It was 3 of the worst games that he went through that period, Bo.
Yep.
Where there was no production. He was dropping balls. They were getting intercepted off his hands. It was a brutal 3 games. You could see he's starting to feel a little healthier at the end of the season. If somehow, and I say this, Bo, nobody's healthy all season. No. But if he could stay healthy enough, I will debate anybody. I hate when people call him a bust. He's got a chance to be a big-time player, and they still counting on him to be a big-time player.
Biggest tease last year was Devontae Parker through training camp.
Yeah, because he was unbelievable. He was running around healthy and running by everybody on deep post and takeoffs. He was running jumping over guys. It was unbelievable to watch.
Facebook question here. Anyone else think Jakeem is going to be a star? You know what? I love Jakeem out there.
He's got to play.
Got to play more. Got to get him the ball.
He and Kenyon Drake.
Yep.
I call it the speed group.
Yep.
Because those 2 guys are the 2 fastest guys you have on your offense. With Kenny Stills, those guys on the field, you saw against New England. You've seen it against certain groups.
But you know what?
Get more of that.
The thing with Jakeem that surprised me, Joe, and we saw it 2 or 3 times toward late in the season. Did it a couple times at Kansas City. His ability to run through traffic. He doesn't need to be wide open running down the field. He had a couple of those little screens, those little one-man screens they threw to him. Ran a guy over on one.
Broke one for Kansas City for a touchdown.
Jitterbugged his way through it.
We have found out, too, he's better on the outside than he is on the inside. He's better when he's out wide, whether it's running takeoffs or those screens to wide receivers out there. That's where he's been most productive.
Miami Bird 24 from Periscope. Will there be changes to the catch rule in the offseason?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to simplify it.
They've got – Joe – I know people take a lot of shots at the officials. I think the officials, they're the best officials in the world. But they've got too many things to look at, too many variables, too many this is that and that's that. But, this is that if you do this, but it's not if you do that. It just I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they just don't go out there and don't call anything.
Right.
Say, I'll let the replay
just do it like they did in the Super Bowl. Yeah. They just didn't call any penalties. Yep. Well, I go to this. When I heard the commissioner, I was glad to hear Roger Goodell say this. Bo, he just said, when our fan base doesn't know what a catch is, we got a problem.
Yeah, no doubt.
When they're watching, lifetime NFL fans are going, well, this ought to be interesting, honey. Is this going to be a catch or not? Not good.
Yep. Nate Aldridge from Facebook. What are you guys' thoughts on tight end Hayden Hurst? I think he's a South Carolina. Is he a South Carolina guy or a South Carolina State guy? I know there's one guy. I don't know.
There's one guy from a small school, and I'm not sure who it is. But I'll tell you who's pretty good.
Kid from Wisconsin.
Penn State's got a nice big target.
Yep.
Nice big target that moves really well.
Yep. Facebook, what are your thoughts on new coaching staff additions and what they bring to the Miami Dolphins team? Hard to say. It's hard to say, Joe. These guys have all got experience. They've all, they've worked with each other. It's such a fraternity out there. Yeah. I can't make a judgment on your new offensive coordinator, your running back coach, without seeing them. Yeah.
You know what happens, though, Bo? It's all that matters is who your head coach and your 2 coordinators are most in this case, defensive coordinator Matt Burke, who they're most comfortable with, and having guys that they have a history with.
Yep.
Those guys are big on having – look at Don Shula, man. He had guys been with him forever. Guys, he goes back to – they were chasing women together in college.
No doubt. Hey, Joe, tomorrow, big day, DCC here in Miami, the Dolphins
big day.
Cancer Challenge.
Millions.
They've raised over $20 million so far, looking to raise another $6 or $7 million for this ride.
Yeah.
Look, if you guys want to get involved, you can go to DCC.com. You can go to the Miami Dolphins webpage. You can come on down to the Pro Player or to Pro Player. How far behind?
Hard Rock Stadium.
You can come down to Hard Rock Stadium tomorrow. Just about any time during the day. There's a concert after.
Right.
You can donate. If you want to be part of it, if you want to feel like you're helping find a cure for cancer, come by, drop a few. But even if it's $2, $1, whatever, everything
take
helps.
Anything
man.
you have, and it's as everybody. We always say this, Bo. You either know somebody or it's happening in your own family.
Yep.
The whole thing with cancer affects everybody.
DCC.com.
Be fun.
Go check it out. Go to my page. Throw a few dollars on mine because I'm trailing a little bit.
You're on the cycle.
I'm on a bike ride.
You're on the bike. I'm going to be with the walk group. I notice I'm by myself.
Yeah, look, if you don't want to ride and you want to jump in, you can still sign up for the bike. What the ride?
I call it walk and
walk
talk.
Starts about 9, right?
It is 9 o'clock. And by the way, while I walk, I do a lot of talking.
Well, let's just change that to walking bullshit then, right? Because that's really what it is. It's just walk and bullshit.
All right, walking and bullshit a little bit. All right. Shockingly, I got called out.
That's going to do it for the Audible now. That, my friends, is a wrap. We'll be back on March 8th. Not sure how it's going to look. Not sure how it's going to sound.
Great.
Not sure what it's going to be.
Great.
But I think we're going to be back. And I think we may have Bobby McCain be our first guest on it. You never know.
We're going to have, when we come back, Bobby McCain.
We'll
call it your
right
slot
here.
show. It's going to be the slot show. You got to be a little bit of a badass for it, but it's going to be, we don't back down from nobody. That's right.
That's going to do it. We'll see you March 8th. Take care.